All right, so today we are reviewing 2.2, specifically question 5. We are reviewing how to make an exponential function after it passes through two specific points. So remember, our exponential functions will always be in the format of f of x is equal to a times b to the x. Sometimes you'll see it as y equals a maybe to the r of x, but what we're really focusing on is this. F of x is equal to a times b to the x. So what we're going to start doing is I'm going to start by color coding my points. So I'm going to say that the 2 is blue, the 5 is green, the 4 is red, and the 12 is purple. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by writing an equation. Through this, we are going to plug our points into this equation here. So what this looks like is if we take this equation, f of x equals a times b to the x, well, if we use this point for 12, we know what our f of x is. That's 12. We don't know what our a or our b are yet, so we're just going to leave it as a times b, and we know what our x is. That's 4. So now we're going to do the same thing to the other 2 points, 2, 5. So our f of x is 5, and our a we don't know, and our b we don't know, but our x we know is 2. So what we're going to do with these two equations is we're going to divide them. We're going to divide 12 by 5, and we're going to divide a times b to the 4th over a times b squared. So 12 divided by 5, we're just going to keep as 12 over 5. And then we have a times b to the 4th over a times b squared. So a times b to the 4th over a times b squared, our a's will cancel out. And then what we're left with is b to the 4th over b squared. So if you're struggling with what this looks like is b to the 4th is just b times b times b times b over b times b. So when we want to simplify this equation, what do we get? Our b in the numerator and b in the denominator can cancel out, and then we can do that twice. What we're left with is, in the denominator, we're left with just 1, because our b's cancel out. In our numerator, we're left with b times b, or just b squared. This, we're just going to simplify to b squared. We're going to drop it over 1, just makes it easier to read. So what are we left with? We're left with, over here on the left, 12 over 5, and then we're left with, over here on the right, is equal to b squared. So now the final step to find out what b is equal to is we take the square root. The square root of a squared number cancels out, and we're just left with that number. And then we're not going to simplify our square root of 12 over 5. We're just going to keep it as 12 over 5. So this becomes 12 over 5 equals b. Now that we found our b, what we're going to do is plug in our b into one of our equations from above. So either 12 equals a times b to the 4th, or 5 equals a times b squared. I'm going to pick 5 equals a times b squared. It's just a bit easier, cleaner numbers. So we have 5 equals, we don't know what a is. What we're doing is we're solving for a. But we do know what b is because we just found it. We found it down over here on the bottom. Our b is 12 over 5. So we're left with 5 equals a, and then 12 over 5, the squared of a square root, it just drops the square root. We're left with 5 equals a times 12 over 5. So the last step we want to do is to get a alone. To get a alone, we can either divide by our 12 over 5, but that gets a little messy because we're a fraction divided by a fraction. So what I'm going to do is just multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of multiplying by 12 over 5, we're going to multiply by 5 over 12. When we multiply by 5 over 12, our 12s cancel out and our 5s cancel out. So we're left with, on the right side, just a. But since we did that to the right side, we also have to do that to the left side. So what are we left with on the left side? 5 times 5 becomes 25. 12 times 1 just becomes 12. So what do we get? Our A is equal to 25 over 12. So now that we have all of this, we're going to take our original equation, which we found up here. Our f of x equals a times b to the x. This is what we stated from the beginning. F of x equals a times b to the x. So now what we can do is plug in the values we found for a and b to get our equation. So we found that our values for a was 25 over 12. And then we found that our value for b was the square root of 12 over 5. And then this is to the power of x. So our final equation is f of x is equal to 25 over 12 times the square root of 12 over 5 to the x power. So that's how we solve for the first equation. So now what I want you guys to do is take a moment, pause the video, and try out this question over here for 1, 10 and 3, 40. And then again for this question here, 0, 3 and 2, 48. So I want you to pause the video now and try both of these out just for the same method we did above. Okay, so hopefully you listened to me and you paused the video. If you didn't, that's on you. Hopefully you understand what to do, because I really want you guys to do this on your own and be able to do this on your own. So what I'm doing is I'm just copying down our equation over here so we know that this is the equation that we are going to be using for these two sets of points. So over here on the left one, we are going to start by just marking up our questions. So I'm going to circle 1 with blue, we're going to use green with 10, we're going to use red with 3, and then let's use purple with 40. So we're going to start by writing our f of x equation. So f of x equals a times b to the x. Our f of x is 40 equals a times b, our x is 3. Our second equation we can write is 10 is equal to a times b, and our x value is just 1. So when we divide these two equations, we get 40 divided by 10, which becomes 4, is equal to 10 times b cubed over 10 times b to the first power. So we don't have to write the first power, we're just going to leave it as a times b. When we simplify this equation, we get 4 is equal to, our a's cancel out, and we're left with b cubed over b, which is just b squared. The final value, let's take the square root of b. Since we took the square root of b on the right side, we also have to take the square root on the left side, so the square root of 4 is 2. So we found out that our b is 2. So now we need to solve for a. Pick either equation to plug b in. I'm going to pick the one on the bottom. Because the one on the bottom is quite simple, it's just 10 equals a times b to the first power, which we just said was b. We're going to plug in our b value, which we found was 2. So we have 10 equals a times 2. We're going to get rid of this 2 on the right side by dividing by 2. Since we did it to the right side, we have to do it to the left side. What's 10 divided by 2? 5. So what is a equal to? A equals 5. Now what we're going to do is plug this into our f of x equation. So f of x equals a times b to the x. F of x equals 5 times our b, which is 2, to the x power. We're just plugging in the two things we found into our f of x equation. So our equation is f of x equals 5 times 2 to the x power. Okay, now let's try it for the last point that we have. We have 0, 3, and then we have 2, 48. So I'm going to start by writing our bigger equation on top, so it already sets us up to divide. 48 equals a times b. What's our x power? 2. Then we have 3 is equal to a times b. What's our x power? 0. So what we're going to do is let's start by dividing our equations. So we get 48 divided by 3 equals a times b squared over a times b to the 0 power. So do we remember what b to the 0 power is? If you don't remember, think of 5 to the 0 power. What is 5 to the 0 power? 1. 5 to the 0 is 1. So b to the 0 is 1. This rule means that any number to the 0 power is just 0. Any number to the power of 0 to the 0 power is 1. I think I just said is 0, it's 1. Any number to the power of 0 is 1. So a million to the 0 power is just 1. 0.5 to the 0 power is just 1. So our a to the b of 0 is just 1. When we simplify this, 48 over 3 is 16. A times b squared over a times 1. So when we finally simplify this, a over a cancels out. We're just left with 16 equals b squared. B squared over 1 is just equal to b squared. So now the last step, take the square root of b squared, we're left with b. Since we did it to the right side, we have to do it to the left side. The square root of 16 is 4, so the value of our b is 4. So now let's plug it in to one of our equations. Since we just talked about b to the 0 power being 1, I think it would be a little bit easier to plug it into this equation. So this equation, 3 equals a to the b times 0. B to the 0 is just 1. So what do we get? A times 1, or our a is equal to 3. So we didn't even have to plug in our b value for this because our b just simplified to being 1. So 3 is equal to a. So now finally what we can do is plug in what we have for our a and b into our equation. So we said our a is 3 and our b is 4. So our final equation is f of x equals 3 times 4 to the power of x. This is our final equation. Okay, so hopefully this video made sense. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along and understand what I was saying. If you're still struggling with this, please send me a Jupyter message, comment down below, and I can help answer any questions you guys have.